PTBO Sports Show here live on your TV, Peterborough and Lindsay. I'm, I guess, your host for the day today.
Yeah.
Producer Matty alongside Mark Millian, the owner of the Capital PTBO here. You can come visit us anytime at 370 George Street North in downtown Peterborough. No Jordan Mercier today. He's a little under the weather. It's that kind of year. You know, we're going from summer to fall. Like every night's 4 degrees now.
He's not really sick.
He said, like he texted us this morning, and he said it's like a take no emails kind of sick day, which he usually wouldn't take.
That's a tough one. If you can't even rally for an email, oof.
And like if you know Jordan, like that's the guy who will. Like I've seen him work through like a gallbladder attack.
Yeah, that's right. He did.
So I don't know. Like he must be down for the count. And I mean, Thanksgiving's coming up a few days away. Maybe he's just being a little precautious so we can do all the family gatherings this weekend.
Yeah,
might be it. But either way, he should be back next week. And until then, I get the chair. I got Mike 2 for a change instead of Mike 3.
Yeah, this is nice.
Little inside baseball. I'm right across from you. Like last time we did this, we'll get to the Jays in a few. We were projecting the AL East.
Yes, that's right.
And now we're getting ready for the playoffs.
Maybe that's the theme. Every time there's so the NHL now is coming into season and it's you and I. So maybe Mercier, maybe he's off the week before each of the pro sports goes live.
I've got a theory.
Tell me.
He doesn't want to give any predictions for the season because he doesn't want to be the guy that gets called out at the end of the year.
Do you know that we actually should have wound back the clock on one of my predictions?
You said the Rays would win the AL East, I believe.
No.
I think you did. I think you were off on that one.
No, that doesn't sound like me.
You said Aaron Judge is going to hit 12 home runs.
I said that Aaron Judge will hit 61, but he will not hit 70.
Did you say that at the start of the year?
No, I said that when he had 47. I think I said it at the All-Star break. The kid will hit Maris, but he won't hit Barry.
Interesting. So we're going to talk about Aaron Judge in a little bit because he did hit 62 this week. But first, we got to talk about Patreon. Patreon.com/capitalptbo. Mark, if you want to support the show, explain the tier levels and what each one of those gets you.
Yeah, so Patreon.com is a subscriber base. If you've been watching us now for the last easily couple months.
Yeah, 2 months, I think now.
So we've been doing the big wheel of Win Nothing. You've watched Mercier kind of butcher that every single week, but that's okay. You got it first try. I got it first try. So we have 4 different levels, $3, $7, $13, $20, and each level gives you a different access to the store and to the podcast. So the $3 one simply will get your name on the wheel of Win Nothing.
Yep.
And it will get you a sticker from the store for $3 a month. For $20 a month, you get those things. You get 15% discount code in the store and online. You also get exclusive access to future shows or future events that we're having here at the store, as well as you get your name on the blackboard. So you'll see the people in behind us there, Brad Sinclair, Matty Latour, thank you very much, Jim Murray, Dara Schollard, Shane Sayer, and a new Patreon member. In fact, new to Peterborough in some way.
Oh, really?
Gentleman's name is Maurice Cormier. Came into the store this week. Came in last week, actually, but he came in this week, signed up to be a Patreon member as well. He's named after Maurice Richard.
Really?
Yes, his dad was a huge Montreal Canadiens fan.
Good French last name, too, Cormier.
Absolutely. And so I believe, just picking up on some of the things that we talked about, him and I in the store, that he is French-Canadian.
Nice.
Because his accent is terrific. Like somebody that rolls the R's, like somebody that really puts the sort of the style that French language commands.
Maurice.
Yeah, better than that even.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm the fakest French guy you know.
That's weird.
I know, I got a French last name.
Oh, you do have a French last name, too. Oh, yeah.
My dad's from Ottawa, though. So, he didn't actually grow up in Quebec. But
it's on the border.
Back to Maurice.
So, Maurice, he also, he borrowed a book and gave us a book. So, terrific. And thanks very much for your support, Maurice. We really appreciate it. Let's get on with the wheel of Win Nothing.
Wouldn't it be something if Maurice wins in his first week?
I would like that.
So we've got Jim Murray's won 4 times.
Yeah, let's get Brad Sinclair a win here. Brad needs one on the board. He's a long-time listener.
Here we go.
Let's see what we got here.
Big moment. Dara Schollard again.
Schollard again.
So we've done this 7 times, and we've had 2 winners.
We've had 2 winners. Congratulations, Dara Schollard. Back-to-back big wheel wins.
Yep. Jim Murray. It's like the Celtics and the Lakers with these two.
Yeah, maybe it is Bird versus Magic.
If you want to take part in the Wheel of Win Nothing every week, patreon.com/capital PTBO. And then if you want to get on Blackboard, just over my left shoulder here, minimum $7 subscription, I believe.
To get on the board, yes.
Yeah, $3 tier. We appreciate you, but you don't get on the board.
Correct.
Beautiful.
So thank you for everybody that continues to support our show on Patreon and here on your TV. But let's get on with the show.
So it's kind of a big deal. October baseball for the Toronto Blue Jays,
Yes.
which, I mean, it's weird. When you talk to people, everyone talks about it like they haven't been there since 2016, like they don't acknowledge a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But they were there and they lost.
Yeah.
But I think it's different now because they're at home.
Yeah.
So the Toronto Blue Jays will take on the Seattle Mariners in the Wild Card Series, 3-game series, all 3 of them at Rogers Centre in Toronto. First game is this coming Friday, so if you're watching this on your TV live, it's tomorrow at 4:07 p.m.
Yes.
Saturday at 4:07, and then if necessary, Sunday at 2:07.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack here. Jays, we'll start with the matchup itself with the Mariners.
Yeah.
I like this matchup. And the Jays, I think the Seattle won the series 5-2 this season.
Yeah, they did.
But I think the Jays I'd rather play them than anybody in the AL East.
Yeah, I think so. I think this was a great draw for them, even though Tampa's kind of limped their way in. I think this is a good pull for Toronto. You're going to get Luis Castillo and Manoah on the Friday night or Friday afternoon, which bodes well for the Jays. Castillo's nice. He's a bulldog, no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
But I mean, so is our guy.
There's nobody hotter than Manoah right now.
No, that's right. Player of the month for September. So I like this matchup for Toronto, and I think the guys, a lot of the players are starting to crest just at the right time.
Yep.
Bichette certainly has hit anything that moves. Vladdy's been terrific, but some of the other guys, like when I see Teoscar Hernandez starting to get hot, and that in the bottom of that lineup, like the Jays 7, 8, 9 since the All-Star break has been the best in baseball.
Yeah, and you look at and the thing I like about this Jays team is that when guys aren't hitting well, they're playing really well at their position.
Yeah.
Like you look at a George Springer or a Matt Chapman; those guys are lights out in their positions.
Yeah, I'd like to get Espinal back.
Yeah, he's just good everywhere.
He's good everywhere, but I think his second base just commands more.
Yeah, I think so.
I also like Whit Merrifield. I like that speed makes a difference on the base paths. I'm high on the Jays, and I think that, let's win this round first before we get into the next rounds. But
it's winner gets Houston, I think.
Yeah, the winner will get Houston. So Houston won't be. The winner get Houston on this side. They did because they got. Actually, I think we'll double check that, but
yeah, I think they get Houston, and if so, I mean, I don't want to play it too far in advance.
Yeah,
but I'm all for like a George Springer revenge tour. Come on, bang that trash bin a little bit more.
One time, Springer will have all of the Astros demons. I think it's a good matchup. It's good and here's the real unsung hero of the whole weekend is Major League Baseball scheduling staff.
Yeah,
like. Legit, you're going to give me Friday, Saturday, Sunday on like Thanksgiving weekend?
See, I don't know how popular that's going to be. Because think about how many people are traveling on Friday and won't be able to tune in live, like on TV. You'll get to hear it on the radio.
You're going to get the romance of the radio, but give me an A for absolutely terrific.
You don't want a night game?
No, I want to, the family's all over and they all want to talk. Shh. This is like the one time.
But 4 o'clock is right before dinner.
That's what I'm saying.
If you have it at 7, you eat dinner, and then I guess you're falling asleep, though, with the turkey.
There's going to be so many of you guys. I guarantee it, this is the way it's going to work. Because at our house, it used to always work when I was a kid. My mom would say, we're not watching any sports during dinner. Right? And so my dad would always be like, okay, no problem.
Your mom would say, that surprises me. She's a sports gal.
But no, because my mom had to deal with it 361 other days of the year.
Yeah,
Christmas, no. Not this year. This year, I've got to watch because the Jays might lose. It's not like I'm watching the Yankees in Tampa and I don't really care, but I'm interested only as a sports fan. So this weekend, y'all are getting a hall pass. Boom! Give me an A. Let's go Blue Jays.
So I'll be driving to Ottawa. I'm leaving about 5 o'clock on Friday. So probably 3.5 innings into the game. So I'll be listening to it on the radio. My sister's boyfriend is driving, which he's cool. He's a big sports guy. So he said we can literally use his data on his phone to watch it on whatever it is, Rogers Ignite or whatever the streaming service is. I'll be watching it all the way up Highway 7. Saturday, we've got a dinner right at 5.
Oh, it's okay.
But I got two sides of the family in Ottawa. I got mom's side, which is like the redneck beer drinking sports loving side.
Okay.
And their dinner is Saturday.
Rad.
Which is perfect because we can watch a game during dinner. Yeah. And then the Catholic side of the family is on Sunday, but luckily that's a 2 p.m. game.
Yeah. So, okay, so what you're saying, you'll be able to transition out of that 2 o'clock, boom, right into 5 o'clock dinner.
I think so.
No,
yeah.
It's beautiful.
Or I'll be really upset at the 5 o'clock dinner. It all depends.
Congratulations, MLB scheduling department. You did it.
But if you're in Seattle, like an 11 a.m. game on a Sunday, I don't know if I get that we're not representing them, right?
No.
We represent Jays fans here.
The West Coasters get it all the time.
All the time. They get 7 o'clock games at 4 every day.
I don't like that. Like, I remember when we traveled to the West Coast and you wanted to watch NFL football and it was 10 a.m. and I thought, this is not the right way to live. But
see, I don't mind it because I think about like the NBA finals. Those games starting at 8:30. That's so annoying out here.
Yeah. But starting 5:30 there? Yeah.
I think I would have liked a night game because it's something about being under the lights, I think.
Yeah. I like that when it gets real cold.
Yeah.
Get that last week of October, World Series baseball. You can't give me an afternoon game. Absolutely not.
Well, we talked about the bat flip game. That was a chilly night.
Absolutely.
I like it. So how do you think the Jays do? You think they win the series?
I think Seattle will take one.
Take one?
Yeah. I have a feel like
the problem is it's not much to give in this series. It's 3 games, you're out.
No, and I know getting out of the gate is important, but what worries me is the third. I know that they've announced Gausman as the starter for 2. I'm not sure who the starter is for 3.
Yeah, I don't think it's been announced.
Maybe Barrios, but I'm kind of hoping it's Stripling.
I think it'll be Barrios. I like the guy.
I know.
And when he's rolling, but he has not been consistent this year.
I hope Stripling is the third, and we don't have to use him.
Can we just use Manoah twice in 3 days?
Oh, no.
It's like Randy Johnson. Just put him out there for 300 pitches.
For 1, 4, and 7. That'll be our guy. Let's go Blue Jays.
I'm excited. And yeah, there's definitely an atmosphere when the Jays are this good.
Yes.
And it's I know they made the playoffs in 2019, but it didn't feel like it. It didn't that was still a young team. This is the established team now that wants to make noise.
Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of making noise, Aaron Judge talked about the AL East, and I'm happy the Jays aren't playing anybody from the AL East in at least the wild card round.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge hits home run number 62. I haven't found any of this enjoyable, and it's not because he plays for the Yankees, but it's just everything, and maybe I'm on Twitter too much, but everyone's arguing about whether or not it's the record or not the record.
Yeah.
Seems like every Jays fan says it's not the record because he plays in the AL East, but like, I guarantee you if Vladdy hit 62 home runs, it would be the record for them then.
Yeah, maybe. One thing it can be the American League record.
Because there's no debate.
There's no debating that. Whether it's the true, unfortunately, that era of baseball, C League allowed, that you could argue, saved baseball in a lot of ways. I know Jordan and I are on opposite sides of the fence here about whether they cheated, whether they didn't cheat. This has been enjoyable to watch. Judge has been, aside from his 62 home runs, he's still number 1 in batting average. He's still the number 1 in RBIs, on base percentage, slugging percentage.
He's going to win the MVP. He should win the MVP.
If he doesn't, what more could he do?
Yeah. He could start pitching. That's about it.
Well, actually, if you go back and look at his numbers, his pitching numbers were huge.
Oh, was he a pitcher?
Yeah, he was a pitcher back in the day. He also played football in the day. Ohtani, what could Ohtani do more? I guess maybe get them into the playoffs.
Get them into the playoffs. He could hit 60. Ohtani needs to be like a 20-game winner in order to, I think. And I know the wins aren't nearly as valued as they used to be, but in order to compete or even have a chance at the MVP this year, he would have had to win 20 games, plus had the offensive stats he did.
I think so.
Because it's we talked about this, I think, 2-3 weeks ago. It's bonkers what Aaron Judge is doing.
Yes.
Take away the home runs even.
Yeah.
He could, I don't know, is he still close to the Triple Crown, or is that kind of faded off a little bit?
I don't know. As of, we're it's Wednesday while we're recording the show.
Yeah.
So it's the last day of the Major League Baseball season. He didn't play today. He didn't play on Wednesday.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah,
if he was sitting on 61, he would have played.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I don't know. It's
the Yanks don't need him.
Yeah, most home runs, most RBIs. He scored 133 runs this year. Walked. Yeah. He's leading the league in walks with 111. Yeah, it's pretty gross. I mean,
was his average there?
What's his average? I got to scroll for that.
It's like 311 or 316 or something.
311, yeah.
Yeah.
Not leading the league though. It's a shame.
Still been fun.
Very fun. And I get that he's a Yankee and people don't like that. But for me, it's I don't mind calling this the record. And I know some people are probably going to get upset over that, and that's okay. You don't have to like it. But I also am fine if it's not the record, because when the guys were hitting these home runs, like Barry Bonds, he was doing it against juicers.
Sure.
It was still an even playing field.
Sure.
It's not like Aaron Judge is doing this against, any kind of scrubs. Like pitching right now, you can argue, at least with the analytics and the mechanics of it, are probably more advanced than ever.
Yeah.
That said, 62 is a bit of an over the plate ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm fine if you want to call it the record. I'm fine if you don't.
Yeah.
There's definitely different criteria for everybody.
Is there a difference in the pitching? Considering the guys are throwing, I would say that on average, guys throw harder today than they threw in, 2001.
I think so. And that's we see that in every sport. Guys in the NHL on average are shooting harder now.
Sure.
I think, too, I would wager to say he's probably faced more different pitchers this year than Barry Bonds would have.
Sure.
Because guys aren't pitching 8 innings every night or 7 innings every night anymore. They're pulling them pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I think to be able to do that against such a wide variety of pitchers, I don't have the number in front of me, but that's impressive because you're seeing almost a new guy every time you're up for some teams.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm happy for Aaron Judge.
So am I. It's good for baseball. You got a 62 and you got a 703.
Yeah.
You got a guy that passed 700 and he passed Ruth on the RBI list, and you got Judge at 62, and you got the chance with Maris's family being there and Judge's mom and dad. It was terrific. It's good for baseball, good for sports.
You're on record as saying Aaron Judge won't join the 500 home run club.
Yeah.
Which, he's at 220 right now.
Yeah. 220 and he's 28 years old?
Yeah. That's the thing. People forget how old he is.
Yeah.
Does he touch 60 again or even get close to it?
I don't know. I would hate to think that he could. There's a litany of guys that have hit 50 to 59 and never got there again, including Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton hit 59.
Yeah, just up the lineup a little bit.
And Stanton's another guy. He's 32 years old. He's got 375 home runs. He won't hit 700, let alone 600. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to happen. The body will break down. Judge will finish with 5.
You think so?
Absolutely. That's a good career. 220 short. So he hits 30 a year for the next 8 years. He's right there.
Yeah, I guess so. And playing, the AL East is all small ballparks anyways.
Sure, yeah. Playing on the porch with Yankee Stadium. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just the problem is when you break a record like this, or don't break a record, or whatever you want to say.
Sure.
The next year, if you don't do it, it's almost a disappointment. If he hits 50 next year, it's he only scored 50. Or he only hit 50.
I don't know, because again, the pantheon of 50 home run hitters, there's not a lot. I can understand if it's a Brady Anderson type where he goes from 50 to 22.
Yeah.
They'd be like, ooh, what's happening here,
What was
Brady?
Roger Maris's second highest?
Yeah,
it's not very high.
I don't know. That 61 Yankees team was also murderer's row. If you go back and look at the numbers, Mantle hit 54, Elston Howard, the catcher, hit 45. That was a murderous group.
Roger Maris's second highest year, he had 39 home runs.
Sure.
So
that's kind of the anomaly on him. And maybe in the same way like Sosa was, like Giancarlo Stanton, maybe Judge is an anomaly guy. Maybe he'll settle back down and he'll be a 310, 40 home run, 120 RBI guy.
There's nothing wrong with those.
No.
Not at all.
No, that's going to rake for sure.
Moving on to hockey, we got a few things to touch on. We'll get to the NHL in a few minutes because preseason's well underway. The Leafs are just beating up on the Habs and Senators and nobody else. But first, I want to start with the Peterborough Petes. They've started their season 2-0.
Yeah.
This show is immediately before Peterborough Petes coverage on your TV every week. At least the premiere of this show is. Good start for the kids. Tucker Robertson's been great.
Absolutely. Got player of the week.
For the Petes, last year, it's tough because 2019, 2020, you have the team.
Yeah.
Like you're built to go deep, and then COVID-19 hits, you lose the rest of the season in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then you come back and like, I like the Petes. They weren't great last year.
Yeah.
They had their stretches, but they weren't great. Like they snuck into the playoffs, got beat up by Hamilton pretty quickly. This year though, they're supposed to be like a top 3 team in the East, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're 2 games in. It's tough to judge, but they've played like it.
Yeah, I think they've played great. I think that the first game, like beating Erie when you never led the whole game.
Yeah.
Those are the sorts of games that really, really count for something when you get down the stretch and you're in March. You know, winning those sorts of hockey games, getting that extra point was terrific. But, it's Hamilton. So Hamilton in week 2 or in game 2, that's a good win. And don't at me about, they didn't have Mason McTavish. If you didn't watch that game, you didn't get an appreciation for it. The Petes came out there and let them have it for the first period. 22 shots. They were up 3-0.
Yep.
They controlled the play the entire period. And that makes it very difficult to come back.
And Hamilton, I mean, Mason McTavish aside, they went to the Memorial Cup last year.
That's right.
And they were a first-place team before Mason McTavish got there.
That's right. Absolutely. So that's a terrific win for Rob Wilson's club. And then Oak turns around. Mike Oak turns around and makes a trade this week. Yep. Gets himself, another veteran from Flint, Michigan.
Yeah.
From the Flint Generals. So, and for some futures.
Flint Firebirds.
Firebirds, that's it. So Flint Fire, and again, a 2002 kid, or 2001 kid, I think. And he's, the name escapes me, and I know that you'll have that in a second.
I'm looking for it right now, yeah.
Another 19, 20-year-old kid, veteran presence, has 4 years under his belt in the OHL. Like, he's a career dude in the Ontario Hockey League.
My one criticism of the Pete season, and it's through no fault of their own, it's like, why do we have to wait till November to get a game against Oshawa?
But you're getting it on tsn.ca.
Is it going to be? Is it one of those national games?
Yeah, so you're getting it on, so let's be clear. It's not going to be on TSN 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, whatever the channel numbers they've got. It's going to be available on the TSN app, and it's going to be available on tsn.ca. And still, that's good coverage for the boys.
I agree.
That's good in a way where you can watch it on your phone while you're watching Leafs game Saturday night.
Sahil Panwar, by the way.
That's it, Panwar. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't like waiting till like a month into the season, and I get they play a lot in October.
Sure.
But for me, I grew up in Oshawa, hated the Petes, live in Peterborough now, hate the Generals. I have no loyalty or allegiance.
No, it sounds like it.
I'll cheer for whichever arena is a closer walk, and then I still drive there. But I don't know. Just something about that matchup, whether it be like a Sunday evening in Oshawa or a Thursday night or a Saturday night here in Peterborough. Like, it always gets me fired up no matter where they are in the standings.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to wait till November for it, but I guess if it's going to have a bigger audience, I can wait a little bit.
I'm going to check up the CHL top 10 rankings.
Have they released it yet?
Well, no, they released it in for the preseason of the top 10s, whatever.
Yeah,
but
they do their Kia top 10 rankings.
Give me some Peterborough Petes on there, and I can appreciate there should be no honorable mention. So don't even look at me like that, Dave Branch.
You don't want the honorable mentions?
No, I want to be on the list.
Oh, I thought you meant in general.
No, you took down Erie and you took down Hamilton. Bang, bang.
Peterborough Petes are not in the top 10.
Not in the preseason rankings, but is that for this week?
It's week 1, posted today.
Week 1 posted. Shame.
Not even an honorable mention.
Get out of here.
You're not having any of it.
No, I'm not having any of that.
Flint is on there.
No,
Owen Sound, Guelph.
Owen Sound's going to be tough.
Owen Sound's a good team.
They've got I'm not sure what the kid's name is. It escapes me at the minute.
I know who you're talking about.
But this kid's going to be a high projection in the draft.
And the Mississauga is an honorable mention. Well, Peterborough will get there. They're always disrespected because they got the old arena, a smaller market.
Sure.
They'll get there. Don't worry. We talked about Tucker Robertson. He was named OHL Player of the Week.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic first 2 games.
Yes.
Or sorry, the Kojiko Player of the Week. I misspoke. 6 points, 1 goal, 5 assists to start the season.
Yeah.
He's a guy that's I mean, I didn't expect him when he was a rookie to kind of move into this role as he got older, but he's fit it quite nicely.
Absolutely, yeah. He's slowly, quickly emerged. I mean, just from the outside looking in, I have no insider trading. But it seems like this is Tucker Robertson's team.
Yeah.
I know that they do have a lot of veteran presence there. I know Nick Lardis is there. But I mean, Robertson's he's a day oneer. And obviously thoroughly led by example. And those things are, I'm sure Rob Wilson would say those things are super beneficial in the room. Because sometimes, when things get hairy like that, 17, 18 years old, or you're in a game like you are in the opening night where, every time you come back, you let one in. Every time you come back, you let one in. So it's good. It's a productive start. I'd rather be 2-0 than 0-2, certainly, but the boys they've played terrific so far.
And Tucker Robertson, he's stepped up every time a big name has left. I mean, his rookie year, he had Akil Thomas and Nick Robertson here.
Correct.
He had Mason McTavish here for the first couple months of the season last year, maybe even a month. And he's the guy that stepped up when those guys, weren't around anymore. So I hope Tucker Robertson, I think he's going to have a great year.
Yeah.
Averaging 3 points per game to start, but that's
a great start.
That's not bad.
He's on pace to beat Gretzky. Beautiful.
I know. Well, he's already got more points as a Pete than Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, that's not nice.
It's worth noting.
Wayne.
From Tucker Robertson to Nick Robertson, we'll get into the Toronto Maple Leafs now. Before we get into their preseason, where they've just played Ottawa and Montreal, did you see Austin Matthews' quote on Nick Robertson?
No.
He said Nick Robertson is the hardest shot on the team.
Wow.
Because they were asking him if he has any shooting advice for him. And he says, I don't know what kind of advice I can give him. He's got the hardest shot on the team.
Wow.
Which is a compliment coming from a guy that just scored 60.
Yeah, no kidding. He had a pro-level shot. I remember listening to Rob Wilson when I was on the radio station. I remember Wilson saying, whenever he got the chance, the kid's got a pro-level shot.
Yeah, he's
already got a laser.
He's a small guy, 5'9", $183. Mm-hmm. But when he shoots, it reminds me almost of Phil Kessel's shot because it's quick, but it's heavy.
Yeah.
And it's the one that it'll knock a glove back.
The other thing with Robertson, though, is that he seems to have. I've watched 3 of the Leafs preseason games, including the one that they had the other night against Montreal. He had 3 assists. He's doing all of the other things. He's not sitting in the circle, Ovechkin style, waiting for the pass to release a rocket. He's in the corners. He's playing defense. He's taking the hit to make the play. All the small things that Cheryl Pounder said it the best on TSN. He can't do anymore. So now it's up to the powers that be. Is he enough to play in the top 6, which he should be until Tavares comes back at the minimum. Mm-hmm. And then there should be a healthy discussion about keeping him on line 2 and demoting.
Well, he would be a weapon on a third line too against other third liners. Come on,
sure, but I mean, also you got David Kamp's going to be your third line center. He's going to be feeding Robertson. Yeah. I think I like Johnny T and Willie Nylander. I think I like that a little bit better. Nick's a 30-goal guy.
I think so, and I mean, I'm not a Leaf fan. It's no secret. I am a Nick Robertson fan, and I mean, you talked about going into the corners. He's always done that. He was like that in Peterborough as well. He does not play 5'9" at all.
Right.
And I can't figure out how Pierre Engvall's been on this team, but not Nick Robertson the last 2 years. And I'm sorry if you're a Pierre Engvall guy.
Yeah, the green giant. He's like the friendly giant.
Yeah.
Pierre Engvall, he's 6'5", 238.
And doesn't know how to use it.
No.
Not at all. I think Nick Robertson's going to make the team to start the year. I'd like to see him up all year.
I'd like to see him blaze in October, get 8 goals out of the gate, and make it really hard on a guy like Dubas to say, sorry, Nick, you're going back to Rico.
And he's the kind of guy, much like Austin Matthews, he'll score in bunches.
He will.
He'll score 4 goals in a weekend.
Yeah.
And it's just what he's always done.
Yeah. So I really hope that transitions. I mean, the kid deserves it. Yeah. He's he's always said the right things. He's always doing it the right way. And for a guy who came out of Peterborough.
His brother plays for Dallas, I believe, still?
Still currently employed there, yeah, though he's holding out, Jason.
Have you ever seen those two side by side? I've got it up on the screen here.
Oh, yeah.
Nick's up to about Jason's shoulder.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's from
Jeepers.
the OHL, that picture. I'll put it up on screen here as well. But yeah, that's It's considerable size difference, but they play almost the exact same style.
Yeah.
Which says something about Nick.
Yeah.
The preseason for the Toronto Maple Leafs, just the one loss so far as we record this on Wednesday afternoon. That was a loss to Ottawa. They've beat up on Ottawa since then and Montreal. How much stock do you put in preseason games like these kind of wins?
50%.
Yeah.
I think that coaches probably go into, and certainly management, I'm sure that they go into it seeing how do certain guys, play situationally. They're kind of building the portfolio of bubble guys. To see Nylander score that beauty roof job on Jake Evans on the backhander, that's nice. Kind of gets the veteran guys kind of moving along. I think it's been big for Matt Murray. I think it's been important that Matt Murray kind of gets his feet under him early because Leaf Nation sometimes can be ruthless.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
If Murray comes out with a clunker opening night and they lose 5-1 or something, it's not the end of the world. But in Leaf country, everything is the end of the world when you lose 5-1 on a team that they expect to win 55 hockey games.
A quick start to the season for the Leafs. So they got 2 more preseason games left. Friday in Detroit, and then Saturday they host Detroit. They kick off the season Wednesday in Montreal, and then it's a back-to-back. They're back to Toronto against Washington Thursday. Day off Friday. Saturday they got Ottawa in Hockey Night in Canada. And then Monday they've got Arizona in Toronto. So 4 games in 6 days to start the season.
I watched Ottawa on Tuesday night against the Habs, and they won 5-4. And they had Sam Montalbo in goal for Montreal. So not Jake Allen, who's going to be the starter, but that Ottawa team's going to be a weapon too.
Yeah,
there's a lot of kids there that are going to be able to put the puck in the net.
I say this as a Habs fan, and I feel like they've had a good offseason. They're going to finish last in the Atlantic.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, you still got a bunch of cap room, especially if Carey Price goes on the long-term injured reserve.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of cap room there to play with, but they made improvements, as best as you could, being the dead last place team.
Yeah.
And they're still going to finish last in the division next year. Because Ottawa's beating up on them in preseason. Winnipeg.
Yeah.
I think New Jersey beat them earlier this preseason. It's just, it's tough. And that Atlantic division, it's like the AL East. Like, every team is good.
Yeah. The Habs, and St. Louis even said as much there a couple of weeks ago where he said that, he kind of hinted at this is going to be a long rebuild. You still have questions on the back end. You obviously have Weber that's going to be a contractual sort of minefield.
I think they traded that contract.
They traded Weber's contract?
Yeah, they got Evgeny Dadonov.
Oh, Dadonov, that's right. So Dadonov's also a dead weight. He's a $5 million fourth liner.
Yeah, he's like David Clarkson.
It's hard, but they don't. There's no expectation for them right now. If Caulfield can be the guy and score 30 goals, and they can kind of keep that sort of that spirit going of the young guy and him being able to do it, and and they draft high again next year. Who knows?
I look at that. Caulfield, 30 goals, I'd like to see out of him. Nick Suzuki, I think he's going to, I think he could put up 70, 80 points this year, even if they're a bad team.
Whoa.
Someone's got to score.
I understand that, but the team might have scored 200 goals.
That's fine.
200 is a lot on that, looking at that Habs roster.
We'll score half of them.
Oh.
They're going to lose every game 7-4 anyways.
Oh, jeepers, I don't know. They don't have that fire-branded wagon. I think there's going to, Brandon Gallagher is probably... unless there's something there.
Monahan, he can be a spark plug.
So Sean Monahan's a guy I'm high on.
Yep.
I think for sure coming out of Calgary, it's always different when you get traded from the team who drafted you. Because when you're with the team who drafted you, you're special. You're the baby. You're remembered from that draft class, whatever. You were the number 1 pick for Calgary Flames, all this sort of thing. Then we're transitioning. We're moving on. Sean, you're going to become a free agent. We're not going to resign you. He's healthy now. He's come out in an interview saying, for the first time in a couple of years, I feel good. I'm a guy in our Capital PTBO Fantasy Hockey League. I badly wanted to take Sean Monahan. He didn't go in the first 400 players. So
probably not.
He didn't, but somebody's got him in our league, and it's not me. And I think that he's worth taking a flyer on. He's got the potential. He showed it before in Calgary that he's got the potential to be a 70-point guy.
So the Habs have picked up in the last, I think, 5 years, 2 guys that they got from the team that drafted them. Probably more, but 2 guys jump to mind. Max Domi, who was really good for the Habs.
Yeah.
And Tyler Toffoli, who was really good for the Habs as well. I
Tyler,
guess he was in Vancouver for a pit stop before he came to Montreal.
Yeah, Toffoli was in L.A.
He was in L.A., and then I think he went to Vancouver before Montreal, but he wasn't there very long.
What's with Max Domi, just quickly as an aside?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
Can he not stay with any one club?
I don't even know where he is now.
He's frontline centerman in Chicago, and I'm watching. That's Luke Richardson, former Pete. Luke Richardson's team. I'm watching.
Good buddy of my dad. Grew up in Ottawa.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm watching Chicago Blackhawks there Tuesday night, and Max Domi's no longer the center on that line, and they're putting Taze, Kane, and Athanasiou together.
He's been in Chicago, Carolina, Columbus, Montreal, and Arizona.
He's only played, he hasn't even played 10 years, has he?
No, he's 27.
That's what I mean. What's happening?
I don't know. Maybe it's an attitude thing, but he just doesn't seem to stick wherever he went. And it's funny because they originally acquired him for Alex Galchenyuk, who's another guy that just can't seem to stick anywhere since he left. He was with the Leafs for a minute.
Yeah.
He was in Arizona for a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see Domi stick somewhere because he's crazy talented. It's just the consistency like it is with so many guys, right?
Yeah. It's hard to be consistent, I'm sure, at the pro level. But Max, I thought that would have been, a good showcase. He's only on a 1-year deal in Chicago, $3 million.
Yeah. That's the deal you used to. That's the make or break deal.
Yeah, that's right.
If you do well, you make $4 next year.
Right.
If you don't, you might be on a 2-way contract.
You springboard that into a 3-year, $11 million, $12 million deal, and you're financially set through. Well, these guys are all financially set, but
yeah, they're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Speaking of doing pretty well, we got the Hart Trophy odds for the upcoming season.
Yeah.
Austin Matthews, defending Hart Trophy winner, second best odds at plus 400 to win it, behind Connor McDavid, who's a plus 250.
250.
That's pretty. I mean, McDavid's McDavid. He's always going to be a threat, I think.
Yeah.
And then you got Draisaitl. He's in at third at plus 800, and then McKinnon at plus 1,000.
McKinnon's at 1,000. See, I'm not big on McKinnon. Where's Kaprizov sit?
He's actually right behind McKinnon, plus 1,200.
See, I don't know. Minnesota, there's something there. I know that they had a wild time. Billy Guerin trying to get Kaprizov back in because of the whole Russia thing.
Every time I think about Minnesota, it's a while. I remember a couple years ago, Mikey O was smashing sticks during practice.
Yeah.
It's every time I think of Minnesota, it's something weird. Or Devin Dubnyk, the only place he wasn't great.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's something weird in Minnesota. They get Fleury at the trade deadline, and then in the game 7, you're gonna sit.
Everyone does that to Fleury.
I know.
It's just the thing to do with him now.
He's chronically disrespected. I think obviously Connor being Connor is one. I like Matthews at 400.
The one that throws me off here, and he's a little further down, it looks like he has the 9th best odds, maybe 10th. Kyle Connor.
Kyle Connor's a wagon in Winnipeg.
He can score plus 3,000 odds, so they're not great.
Oh, cheaper.
But he's got better odds than Andre Vasilevsky and Sidney Crosby, who I guess Crosby's getting a little older.
Yeah.
And goalies winning the Hart Trophy is pretty rare.
Yeah, for Vasilevsky to win the Hart Trophy, he's going to have to win 35 hockey games, but have 12 shutouts and a goals against average 1.9.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be Hasek numbers. It'll just be crazy.
And especially because goalies, it seems like they rest a lot more now. Carey Price won it 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're going to see it anytime soon.
No.
But yeah, Kyle Connor kind of threw me off up there. Ahead of him is Kucherov, Shesterkin, and Makar.
See, I'm not big on Kucherov.
He's just, you never know how much he's going to play in the regular season.
Yeah.
It's like betting on Kawhi to win the MVP.
Yeah, I think Kucherov's probably in the era of load management. He's probably the perfect guy at 65 games.
Yeah.
Same with Stamkos. So at least with Connor, considering the way him and McDavid or him and Draisaitl finished last year in Edmonton, they're obviously the odds-on favorite. But
a couple of other guys that are on this list that we didn't mention: Johnny Gaudreau, new home, Columbus, and Alexander Barkov.
Yeah, Barkov. No, Huberdeau. Where's Huberdeau on that list?
This is just the top 15.
Jeepers is not there.
I think.
Wow.
It's tough for Huberdeau because he's also in like a new environment.
Yeah, so I know Justin tells me all the time, Justin who works down here at the Capitol, and he tells me all the time about how there's like a thing with new guys going to new cities and how they don't perform necessarily right out of the gate. I don't know. Gretz put 160 on the board when he went to LA.
All right, I don't think we can use Wayne Gretzky as an example for anything modern day.
Just telling you.
Like, when's the last time a big goal scorer modern day went somewhere else and put up like 40 or 50?
Yeah, usually you find these guys, like Brett Hull, they're finished, right? Luc Robitaille, finished. Yeah. They're done their goal scoring. It's so, that's why it's so unique to think about a guy like Austin Matthews testing free agency.
That's
because
if I'm a Leaf fan, that's a scary thought.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't think that they get there. How do you have a guy that's going to, he's 1 or 1A for the Hart Trophy, a perennial Maurice Richard Trophy threat, and you're going to let him walk down the road?
Yeah, I don't know.
Jeepers.
And the thing is, and we've seen with the Leafs so many times, is like they won't trade a guy before he hits the market, right? And I mean, trading Austin Matthews is a whole nother discussion for another day. And I don't think it's even a possibility.
Yeah.
But if you think he's going to test free agency, like, you don't want to get nothing for him.
That's such a hard. I watched an interview on Spit and Chicklets with Brad Treliving. And they talked about him and RA talked about, was there any thought to trading Johnny Gaudreau? And Treliving said, no, absolutely not. Like, we didn't. Him coming to us saying that he's looking for a new opportunity really caught us. You can kind of get that hint maybe starting in January or February or maybe even earlier before that trade deadline goes live to say, there's always rumbling, something about, maybe a guy's looking to test free agency. You start talking to the agent, things aren't going so swimmingly. But, I couldn't imagine that would be an impossible bit. It's not like when... remember when Sundin, fans were clamoring for Sundin to release his no trade to be able to get something?
Oh, and then he had like the list of, 5 teams or something?
Anyway, he ended up going to Vancouver in the offseason. And
did nothing? Like,
no, Sundin,
he scored a shootout winner against the Leafs. Backhand on Toskala, I think.
Sundin, you weren't going to be able to get anything salvageable for him that was going to make that team any better.
Yeah, well, I mean, Matt Sundin then is much different than Austin Matthews now.
Oh, right.
Again, he's still the face of the franchise.
But he was in his twilight, too, Sundin. Like, it was over. They were long past.
As soon as he lost the hair. As soon as the hair was gone, it's like, all right,
hey,
I don't know what we're getting for him.
Some of us lose our hair and we get better.
I guess so. I mean, I think of all people that could go bald, I think Austin Matthews has to join that bandwagon. That hairline's not good.
I know. And he gets heat for it. And I'll be the very last guy to give anybody any sort of grief on a hairline. But I don't know. I like it. And I really wish they would. I really wish that they would give a guy like him his due. Like, give this kid a break. He's a stud. You've prayed for a stud for a decade. Yep. And now you've got one. And now we want to crush him about the way he talks to, Terry Koshan from The Sun. Who cares? The way he talks to Steve Simmons.
Wasn't he complimenting Terry's mustache?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you look at the way he was looking at Terry before when he started asking the question, he's all like...
Yeah, I mean, I've said for a long time the NHL's personalities are about as bland as they get.
Sure.
And you can just tell, like, when he does interviews, most of the time it seems like he doesn't want to be there. But he'll crack a whip like that every now and then, and it's funny. And we need more of that in the NHL.
Yeah, like, I decided to catch my face with the crossbar.
Yeah.
I just don't give the kid anything like that because there's no need to. And just appreciate what you do have because when it's gone, it'll be right to dry tears, right to dry crying, and they'll be, oh, we don't have a superstar. Well, you know what? You don't deserve one because we had one, you lost him.
Yeah, too. People are all over Mitch Marner, too. That guy's a superstar.
Mitch is the straw that stirs the drink there.
I agree.
For sure.
I'm a big Mitch Marner fan.
Yeah.
And I think he gets way too much heat. Like a couple years ago in the playoffs against Montreal, people were calling for him to get traded.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I would trade my left leg to have this guy on the Habs.
Like, let's maybe keep it in perspective. These are kids.
Yeah, they're young.
And I'm not saying that like kids are beyond reproach because if it was my kid out there and I seen him dogging it, he would get it. And not physically, so don't get after me. But like we're talking about these guys like they're 32.
Yeah, no.
Like they're the inverse of that.
Moving on to the NFL, we got about just over 10 minutes left to talk here. The Bills hang on by a thread to improve to 3-1 on the season.
Yes.
Are we worried that they were almost 2-2, or do we kind of just blindly ignore it because of all the injuries?
They've had a tough road. Baltimore's no...
That's tough to say 4 games into the season.
What do you mean?
It's not a road yet. It's like a driveway.
Look who they played. Super Bowl champs, Rams.
Killed them.
Miami Dolphins. That's not an easy place. It's a house of horrors for Buffalo Bills.
True.
Playing in September in Miami is like playing in an oven. Wait till Miami comes to Orchard Park in December.
You know who also had to play in September in Miami?
No.
Miami.
But they're used to it.
I guess.
In the same way that Josh, like the Buffalo Bills offensive linemen come out in December with no T-shirts on underneath their equipment.
True.
They're used to it. Baltimore, I'm struggling as to who the Bills played. I think they got a waffle game in week 2. But the Baltimore Ravens,
Tennessee?
Yeah, Tennessee. So Super Bowl champ, the number 1 AFC team last year, Miami in September, and the Baltimore Ravens on the road.
Yeah, I mean, they barely got by there. Like, that was a close one with the Ravens.
Sure, yeah, Harbaugh screwed it up. Fine, okay. I'm into it.
As he does.
I'm into that. But the Bills
then
at 3...
The Chiefs this weekend?
I know, see? So, like, how's the chronic...
Oh, sorry, not Chiefs. Steelers this weekend. Chiefs
Steelers next, yeah. Chronic disrespect. Steelers are finished. It's over.
They're washed.
It doesn't matter. That's going to be a smash. But the Chiefs, all of a sudden... So, no, not worried for me to answer your question, coming back to the Bills at 3-1.
Especially with the injuries they've had. Like that, if they're healthy against Miami, I don't think that game's close.
Sure.
Especially, like, we compared the Lions. Like, how many yards of offense did they have against Miami?
Yeah, right.
700 to, like, 150.
Yeah, Allen put 400 on the board.
Crazy. 62 pass attempts?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
That said, like, I don't know. I mean, it's the Bills. They're the favorites. For me, you got to play like the favorites, and I don't want to see you winning games late in the fourth quarter against Baltimore. Like, I want to see you up 20 in that game.
Sure.
Touching on Miami, Tua is a guy that's been getting a lot of headlines for kind of all the wrong reasons. So against Buffalo a couple weeks back, falls on his back, smacks his head off the turf, gets up, stumbles, trips. He does the old cross-legged walk. Yeah. 28 minutes later, he's out of concussion protocol.
Yeah.
Finishes the game off, wins the game, which is remarkable in itself.
Yeah.
And then he's on the field the next week, gets absolutely crushed, and it was one of those scary ones where his like hand seized up.
Yeah.
Back into concussion protocol, doesn't come back in that game, flies home that night, which I find even weirder because if you're in concussion protocol, I don't know if changing altitude and air pressure is really the way to go. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but it doesn't seem like it would be the way to go. He's not going to play this week, though. This is messy all around. And I guess, like, the NFL, like, they've got their apparently he was cleared by a neutral party.
Yeah.
To go back into that game.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have been playing in the first place.
So they fired that dude.
Did they?
Right. They fired the independent neurologist, whoever it is, nameless, faceless. Excuse me. But
easy scapegoat.
The NFL is it's a visual. It's got to pass the eye test for people.
Exactly.
Because nobody believes in what the NFL does behind closed doors. And they've done it. They've meticulously, a flawless record of screwing it up.
Yeah.
But
it's almost impressive how much they get it wrong.
Yeah, it is. It's actually hard to imagine that Goodell just continues to churn out losses, but he does. So Tua's staggers. Okay, fine. They get, the Dolphins head coach saying, oh, he had a problem with his leg, and his leg kind of buckled and gave out. And okay, fine. I'm with you. If nobody's watching that game, nobody sees that, nobody second guesses it.
If he goes out after that stagger and doesn't play till the next week, nobody says a word.
Nobody even thinks about it. But then when he gets carted off the field, when he hits, and there was a neurologist on...
Is that Nowinski?
And the...
former wrestler, he does a lot of concussion work now.
Maybe it was. And he said, like, when he fell down and his hands turned in, it's like, that's a subconscious effort by your body to kind of, it's a trauma. It means that there's been a head trauma. You can't help your hands curling in.
It's your body bracing yourself for another impact.
Yeah. So that tells me that there's a problem. If nobody watches it, it doesn't really, mitigates the ability to make a mistake. If the kid comes in next week,
which he's not, apparently, he won't be playing.
He's not going to play in this week. But I'm saying, like, even after
week,
Canadian Thanksgiving, it's going to be too soon.
Yeah,
I
think minimum you have to keep him out till. I mean, they got 3 games before October ends, or 4 games until October ends because they play on the 30th. I mean, on the safe side, I keep him out till November. Like, we don't know how much damage was caused during this second hit.
Just because he's at the practice facility, he's there talking to the coaches. Like, I can appreciate that and understand that. Mark Savard also sat in a dark room for months and months and months after a concussion.
Never played again.
It ended his career. It gets people differently. It's your freaking brain.
Yeah.
It's not your elbow. And so, for a guy that's already had like a broken hip, and now he's coming back from this, it just optics wise.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for the guy.
So do I.
He's a guy, and like Tank Fortua was a thing. Like, he was a highly touted guy.
Yeah.
Miami picked him up. He was supposed to save the franchise. I guess they're 3-1.
Yeah.
Same as the Bills, mind you. But like, I feel bad for the guy because it seems like he never found a groove, right?
Yeah.
And he's the guy that, I mean, you can make all the Tua jokes you want about his passing and whatnot, but he's a guy that clearly cares about the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to see him playing for at least 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, I think there's got to be some sort of. I think you just have to hit the relax, continue to to follow the doctor's orders and that sort of thing. But I hope for the kid's sake that he's all right.
The NFL screwed it up so many times. I just wanted to do it right once.
Yeah,
just once.
Yeah.
You mentioned Canadian Thanksgiving. That's coming up. Happy Thanksgiving to anybody watching if this is airing during the weekend.
Yes.
I'm heading out to Ottawa. I got both sides of my family out there. They couldn't be any more opposites. We talked about, when we first launched this show, the lemon loaf at the Super Bowl party.
Yeah.
What is your favorite and least favorite thing about the Thanksgiving table?
Oh, my gosh.
Like, there's a lot of good, but there's always some bad.
This might be the 25th anniversary of Stuffing Gate at the Million household.
Stuffing Gate?
Yes.
I need to hear this.
So we had Parade Gate. We've had all these gates on the show. Stuffing Gate happened one year. My mom one year forgot to she makes the stuffing the same way every single year. And so this year she had different pans or something, and she was out of. So anyways, long story short, here's a secret, team. She puts her stuffing in muffin tins.
Oh.
Not with the paper lining. No. Just in the muffin tin.
They're like 2-bite brownies.
Oh my God.
It's a win? It's good?
The perfect part of stuffing is the crust, because you get that hard, right?
Yeah.
You could literally have a stuffing bowl. Just take out all the good stuff, leave the exterior. It's like a little wee bowl. Then you can put a little bit of mashed potato in it, a little bit of gravy in it. The stuffing in the muffin cups changed the Million family for years. It's now to the point where there's been a couple of times Mom didn't do it in the muffin tins.
Outrage.
Instant regret. Immediately, like, start the car, we're leaving.
Wow.
Okay, so that's the ultimate win.
That's the highlight.
The highlight. The low light is the cranberry gets such disrespect.
I hate the cranberry.
Like, honestly, no one likes the cranberry under the age of 40.
I hate it. I probably.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten there yet. I'll let you know in about 15 years.
Yeah.
I just hate them. And I don't mind looking at it as long as it's not the shape of a can.
I know.
How lazy can you be?
You just you open it up and you flip it upside down onto the little saucer.
And that's it. You're done with it.
What is this? Like, you can count the rings on it from the metal.
It's the worst. Like, at least if you're going to make it a cranberry sauce, make it look like a sauce.
Okay, pumpkin pie or no?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
With ice cream and whipped cream. Like, I'm all in.
See, I'm not an ice cream. Do you have to have the pie warm or no?
Doesn't matter for me.
Really?
I like it both.
Really?
Now, my family, there's a controversy with our Thanksgiving. How much time we got? 3 minutes, if that. No mashed potatoes this year at the one dinner.
What?
They're going scalloped.
No.
And it's gonna be a tray about this big. It's a big tray of scalloped potatoes. I love scalloped potatoes, but I feel like for Thanksgiving you have to have the mashed potatoes with the gravy.
Instant, no.
Don't think so? You don't like it?
No.
You don't like scallops, or you just don't like them at Thanksgiving?
I like scalloped potatoes, but not at Thanksgiving. It would be like having, what do you mean?
I said I agree.
Oh, you agree? Okay.
I agree. It's like, we didn't get turkey this year, but here's some burgers.
Yeah.
I love burgers.
But not on Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
No, I've been waiting. Like, hit that 25-pound bird direct. Boom.
Are you cracking out the lemon loaf for dessert? You mentioned pumpkin pie. I know you're big on the lemon loaf. We built the foundation of this show on lemon loaf.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a lemon loaf tranche there, yeah, I'm going to crush it.
You're not saying no.
No, it'd be the first thing that gets added on there. It's a nice, clean dessert. Otherwise, no, we'll stick with pumpkin pie with the whipped cream. It'll be terrific.
Same host every year? Your mom hosts every year?
Well, so not this year. So now we've got like kids away at school, and we've got we're blended family, so we've got a lot of moving parts, which we always do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the fun of being a blended family. So we're doing ours on Saturday, and then there's a Sunday one mixed in. So my mom is next week. Beautiful.
Nice.
The best. I'm going to go back-to-back Jacks.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going Saturday, Sunday, 2 dinners. I don't even have to drive to Ottawa. I mentioned my sister's boyfriend's driving, so I can sleep on the way home.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, you can't travel. You guys won't be traveling that night from Ottawa back to Peterborough, will you?
No, we're coming back Monday.
No, you got to take the night off.
So we drive up Friday, hang out Friday night, eat one dinner Saturday night, the next one Sunday night, drive back Monday.
Yeah.
The Monday's nice to have.
Yeah, it is. We won't be open here at the store, obviously. That'll be nice. So it's nice to have that sort of day off. The weather's supposed to be really chilly, I think. Like Saturday, high of 9.
This store is hot, and I'm wearing a hoodie. Like I'm a sweater guy.
Today was 23.
I wore a hoodie all day. I'm fine with it. Like I'm wearing jeans. Like this is my weather.
Bro, it's 23.
Yeah, but it's October, so mentally it's like 15, no matter what you do.
Wow.
This has been a lot of fun. Before we wrap up,
yeah,
prediction for the wild card series. And if this airs after Monday, then that's okay. We can make fun of it.
Yeah, you can give me Jays in 3.
Jays in 3.
You can give me on the other side of the coin. I'm going to go Cleveland Indians in 3.
Oh,
to beat Tampa Bay.
Give me Tampa in 3 and Toronto in 2.
Oh, okay.
I think the Jays are going to run them over. They're at home. That atmosphere. There's nothing like the Sky Dome.
No,
Rogers Center.
It's loud.
Yeah,
it is. David Price, I listened to a thing with Price just quickly. Price said he couldn't get over the energy. He couldn't get over the loudness.
Well, people just say that about Toronto. Look, LeBron said that about the Raptors during the playoffs.
That he loved it.
All right, so wild card games this weekend. Hopefully, by the time we're back next week, we're going to have more playoff baseball for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Capital PTBO Sports Show. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/Capital PTBO, or come on down, buy something from the store. We got all kinds of great stuff.
Absolutely.
370 George Street in Peterborough, downtown Peterborough. And you've been watching the Capital PTBO Sports Show on your TV, Peterborough Lindsay.